guys, thank you for tuning in to my brand new vlog. Please be gentle with me. I'm a bit of a newbie in this, so I might not do everything the way it should be done or how you want it to be done, and so on and so forth. Bear with me, and hopefully with practice I will get a bit better. I decided to do something quite different, something that I've not seen out there before in the internet, and I want to start a blog and, you know, relate to you guys about being a modern day academic and a modern day scholar. Yes, I know it sounds very boring, but I'm hoping that I'll give you my take on it and you guys will be interested, and I'll be able to be essentially a big sister who can coach you through your higher education experiences at university and college. So it's exam results week this week. Yes, I know everybody who's expecting really big exam results, especially the A-level people, you are very nervous. I know, because I've been there before myself and I remember exactly how it feels. But I'm here to give you some tips and some pointers of what you can do on the day that you get your exam results should you not get your first choice or second choice of university. Hopefully that won't be the case for any of you, but unfortunately, like myself, it is the case for some people, and I've remembered some of the things that I did on that day to make that process a whole lot easier and 10 times less stressful. So the first thing I want you guys to do is don't panic. The reason why I say that is because when you panic, you tend to miss things and not be able to do things as efficiently as possible. So that's my first tip for all of you. So there's going to be two sets of people. I could say three, but I'll say two for the sake of simplicity. The first set of people are going to be the ones who some of you might not want to talk to in the day because they would have got all the exam results that they need to get into their first choice university. Fine. The second group of people are going to be the people who didn't get the results they needed to get into their first choice university. Now, those people will have two options. Either they will have, well, everyone will have a security choice, which, you know, you've chosen prior to exam results day, which you obviously choose as your safety net, essentially, because that's what it is and that's what it's intended to be. So some of you will miss the grades that you need for your first choice, but you might get the grades that you need for your second choice, and in that case you will just accept your security offer and you will be good. Woohoo! You're going to uni. Unfortunately, like myself, I missed my first choice and I just missed a grade on my second choice university, and so I felt as if I was entirely stuck. It made me worry and panic. I didn't know if I was going to end up going to university the year that I was supposed to go to university that year. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know who to turn to. I didn't know how to contact people. I don't know what was the appropriate way of going about that situation. So the first thing that I would do, regardless of whether you feel you're going to get your exam results that you need to get into your first and second choices or not, is have all the details for the admissions office that you need for the Institute of Education which you are possibly going to have to contact that day. So if you have both your first option and your security option, their telephone numbers for the admissions office and who you need to speak to, a name of a person who you need to speak to is very important. Most universities are multidisciplinary and they won't just have one sort of genre, of course. They will have several, and the last thing you want to do is wait on the phone to an operator trying to get you through to the right department. So the best thing to do is have a telephone number for the admissions office which you are going to need to contact if worst comes to worst. What I would always do as well is have their email address in hand. Sometimes people respond a bit quicker to emails because when phones are engaged, there's not much you can do about it. But if someone's able to multitask, they might be on the phone waiting for someone to get back to them with some information. Meanwhile, they could be checking their email, and that's what a lot of admissions offices do. They kind of have people who are on the phone but also multitask and kind of respond to general inquiries on email that they've received, because, you know, they're waiting for something on the phone, they're waiting for someone else to get back to them, they're waiting for a call back. So always have an email address on hand as well. I feel like that's really useful and it's a really quick way of communicating. Emails are practically instant. You know, you can refresh your inbox every so often to make sure that you're not missing anything, and so on and so forth. Obviously, it goes without saying, make sure that the institute's email address is not going to go into your spam Oh, please. I know so many people who kind of expect important emails, but they've forgotten to go into their inbox and change a few settings to make sure that it doesn't get filtered through as junk or spam mail. Okay, so that was rule number 1. Have the list of the numbers that you need, the people who you need to speak to, and other contact details such as email addresses. So should you need to contact them on the day, you can, and you won't be panicking trying to rush around on the internet on the day trying to find those details. The reason why I say that you should have those details is because, like myself, I had to directly then contact my insurance option, right? And say to them, listen, am I going to get in or not? Is my application still being considered? Because I had missed their requirements by a grade. I obviously got the first 2 grades, but the 3rd grade I had missed. So I missed my first option, and then I missed 1 grade that my insurance wanted. So it was easier for me to give a call to my admissions office and say, this is my reference number for my UCAS application. Can you tell me if it's still being considered, so I can make the decision if I want to go through clearing or if I'm going to take a year out, do something different, and then reapply next year. I found that this helped greatly in the whole process of that day, considering that I was stressed enough having not got into my first choice and then missing a grade for my second choice. I felt like having those details and being able to phone someone, a person, and speak to a person on the phone, it really helped me and it really aided me, and it got me an answer to my question very quickly. I was told that day by the admissions office of the university that I went to, we're still considering an application. It's not to say it's completely out of the window, but they are, the university lecturers, obviously the senior staff at the university, are still considering an application. It's not that you haven't got in even though you've missed a grade. That to me was so helpful because it made me feel like, okay, that's bought me a few hours to then go on to clearing and see if there's any clearing options that I might like whilst I wait for them to decide if they're going to take me or not, you know, and make that sort of decision. So that's the reason why I say is have the contact details. So if you have any queries and you need to contact your university to get some quick answers, you have those details to hand and you don't have to run around scrambling on Google trying to find what you're looking for. Tip number 2, if you decide that you are going to, obviously you haven't got into your first choice, you haven't got into your insurance, and you decide that you're going to go through clearing, think about the choice that you're going to make in clearing, guys. I can't say it enough. At university, I started with 120 people in my course. The second year it dropped down to 60. Third year, only 45 of us graduated. So as you can tell, the dropout number was incredibly high. Now, that might be due to different things. I'm not saying that people just chose the course because they didn't want to do it. It was a heavy workload. There was a high expectation, and I found that, yes, it was a big jump between A-levels and university standard work. But I think, you know, 50% of the dropout was probably because people had chosen a course which they didn't really understand fully what the course entailed and what it would eventually result in. What I would say is if you're going to make a clearing choice, you make an informed decision. I am all for informed decisions, guys. Before you make a clearing choice, you need to think of the following factors, which I've made a list on here, and I'm really sorry, but I'm going to read it off of here because I can't keep looking at my phone. So the first one that I would say is to research the institute for which you are considering going through to a clearing course for. So think about how close it is to you or how far it is from you, if that's what you wanted. Think about the cost of living. Is it similar to the cost that you had budgeted for your first and insurance options, or is it going to be way too expensive and you're going to have to panic and worry about money halfway into the year? Think about the distance from home. Should you ever need to go home in an emergency? Obviously, no one hopes that anything like that happens, but should you need to go home for an emergency, will you be able to get from your institute home quickly? Should you need to? Think about things like that. I know, you know, it sounds like it's a bit too far-fetched and, you know, why are you thinking about that kind of stuff? But it really is important because there might come a time where there is an emergency at home and, you know, if you're sort of hours and hours away and the last train is at 6 p.m, which it can be in some areas, you know, universities which are further up north, I know that they have different train timetables and schedules, it might be harder for you to get back to London, say, for example, which is where I'm from. The other things that you need to consider is work opportunities. Some people won't work their entire time during university, some people will work. If you are one of the people that are going to work, are there going to be enough job opportunities for you to get yourself a job and get employed and be able to sustain yourself while you're at university? You know, think about if you're already working for a company, could you possibly transfer to a store that that company has up there, or to a building that that company has up there? Really explore your options so, you know, you can make the most of it and make sure that, you know, if you are going to be a student who's working, there's plenty of job opportunities available to you. Because sometimes it's a case where all of the jobs are already taken up and you won't be able to get a job, and then you'll have to panic about money, which is something we do not want to do. So just make sure that, you know, you do your research about different aspects of moving to a different institute which you weren't thinking about originally but you are now considering. Make sure you do your research and get a really good idea of what you're putting yourself in for. Last but not least, I'm going to reach out and speak to the people who feel like it may be more appropriate for them to maybe take a gap year. If you decide that you don't want to go through clearing because they don't have any courses that you like, you haven't got your first or your insurance option, there is always the option of a gap year. Don't feel like a failure because you're taking a gap year, because you're most certainly not. I have a younger sibling who took a gap year after not getting into his first or insurance choices because he missed the grade, and now he is doing very well in his field and he is very well respected, and he's just finished an amazing placement with an amazing company, and you know, it's opened up so many doors for him. So don't feel like taking a gap year makes you any less likely to succeed in what you want to do and your field that you want to go into and start your career. Make sure that if you are going to take a gap year though, you use it wisely, guys. So if it's a case where you're applying to a course where you need some sort of experience, or you can gain some sort of experience, that you do. If you're thinking of doing something medical, try and get some sort of clinical experience in maybe a GP surgery, a hospital, a nursing home, some sort of experience that, you know, is really going to lift your application for the following year. The same goes for people who maybe want to work in law. Maybe you could get a job as a law office assistant or a clerk, or just something so that when you do reapply, you've kind of got something to show that you've not sat around and just wasted your entire year. You've actively sought some sort of work experience in the area or in the job, the course that you're applying to, so it makes you a bit more of a better candidate for that course the following year. So make sure you utilise obviously your time out and use it wisely to make you the best possible candidate for the following year. So you can go back to universities and say, hey, listen, last year I kind of messed up, I didn't get the grades, I've resat the exams, I've got the grades, and on top of it, I haven't wasted my year. I've spent a couple of hours a week doing some sort of experience in a job or in a placement or in an internship that's related to the course that you want to apply for. It's really beneficial, and it will show the university that you are actually serious about wanting to study, and it will make you seem better than the people who decided not to be proactive and waste their gap year out. So that's all from me then, guys. I'm just going to go through my 4 pointers again. So number 1, don't panic. Number 2, have the contact details ready for your admissions office, and a name possibly of a contact as well as an email address that you can contact on the day to kind of avoid the hassle and the running around. Number 3, make sure you make an informed clearing decision. You research any institutes you may be thinking of going to as a clearing option. Make sure that it's going to be sustainable, you're going to be able to afford it, it's going to be close enough or far enough away from home if that's what you want. And number 4, last but not least, if you do decide to take a gap year, make sure that you take it and, you know, you utilise it and you really spend your time well doing something that's going to benefit you getting to where you want to go in the end. And like I've said before, have your career come full circle. I know that's not going in a circle, but you kind of get the general consensus and the idea. Last but not least, guys, good luck to everybody who's expecting exam results this week. I hope you all do really well, and I hope you all get your desired choices. But if not, fear not, because you've just watched this video, so you'll be a bit more prepared, hopefully. Hopefully it's helped, you know, in making those kind of decisions that you'll be making on that day. I'm going to do the most obvious YouTube plug, because what's a vlog without plugging yourself? If you like it, thumbs up the video down there, guys. You know, leave comments if you want to leave comments. If there's specific things that you'd like me to talk about in coming videos, let me know. I will be starting a channel. I'll be talking about experiences of going through uni, including how to be social and do really well in university still, how to deal with your first week, how to become well orientated, how to deal with workload, so on and so forth. I've got loads and loads and loads and loads and loads of bits for you guys. So make sure you tune in, subscribe if you really like it and you feel like it's going to be beneficial to you. And I will catch you again the next time on Sister Scholar, the modern day academic, guys. See you later. Bye bye.